This episode of Film Riot is brought to you by Domain.com. Welcome to Film Riot. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make acid.
The drug or the thing that comes out of Alien?
Thing that comes out of an alien.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you live off of Film Riot? I do my company Triune Films full-time. Underneath that is Film Riot, Variant, Quick Tips. Used to do Film State, a show we do every now and again called Pimpin' Productions, a store, and some client work that we do every now and again, although I've pulled back on that a little bit. My idea has always been have as many wheels turning as possible. That way, if one thing crashes and burns, the whole thing doesn't crash and burn. You have some security there, some safety nets with the other things. Of course, all of them are things that I'm extremely passionate about and been pushing through, but that is currently how things are rolling. How do you know when it's time to upgrade to a new camera? That is entirely gonna depend on you. I feel like I say this too much, but there's no perfect camera, and it is totally gonna depend on you and the way you shoot, your style, so what's gonna fit your needs most. If you're frustrated with the camera that you have, if you feel like you've hit that ceiling and it's starting to limit you and you do have the budget to move on from it, then it's time to upgrade to a new camera. But again, it is not about the gear you use, it is about the talent behind that thing. So, you know, if you could spend money to put it towards the production instead of upgrading your camera and really focus on telling a great story, to pursue your craft more, that might be a thing you want to do. There's no one right answer. It's evaluating your specific situation, what you're trying to do exactly, and going from there. Thoughts on YouTube versus Vimeo? Vimeo is more of the professional platform where more professional people go to post their stuff, and those are the types of comments that you're gonna get more peer review type stuff, more like-minded filmmakers giving you constructive feedback, whereas YouTube is more of an audience-based sort of thing, and I like the social connection more of YouTube. It feels a lot more connected than Vimeo does. If Vimeo feels a little bit more like show up on your page, make a comment, go away, whereas YouTube feels more like a discussion and a connection to an audience, which is why I like it a lot. I don't know if that answers the question. What film are you most looking forward to this year? It's gonna be the same answer of almost anyone. It's gonna be Star Wars. I'm so curious. I wanna see it. And I wanna see that universe done really well, because I think that's one of the coolest universes ever created. So that one. Thoughts on the BMP-CC? For those of you who don't know, that's the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera. I think it looks awesome. I haven't been able to use it. I have a friend that used it and really liked it. It's really low price. What you're getting from it is pretty fantastic, although I have not used it, and I have heard some concerns about issues with the Blackmagic cameras, though I can't speak to those personally because, again, I have not used it. I really want to try it out on the show and talk about it, but I think it's definitely a great option, especially for the price. It's $1,000, but you got to remember you're kitting it out with a ton of stuff to really get it working for you. So you got to factor that in as well. Again, it comes back to you, your style, and your needs. Tips on shooting miniatures. I'm gonna keep asking and keep asking. I've only shot miniatures once, and something that helped me out a bit was, A, obviously getting your camera as low as possible, B, shooting at a longer focal length, and C, shooting with a bit higher of a frame rate, so you're slowing all the movements down a touch so it doesn't feel like that small, quick movement happening. And that seemed to work for me pretty good, but I don't have a lot of experience with that. Maybe we'll do miniatures on the show, get somebody on here who knows their stuff. Hey Ryan, what are your tips for staying positive during tough times? And do you have any recommendations for good film-related books to read? Thanks. For books, I'm gonna say Rebel Without a Crew by Robert Rodriguez, anything from David Mamet, Walter Murch's book on editing, which I believe is called In the Blink of an Eye, and Reflections, which is a book about cinematography. All of those are really great. Through staying positive through tough times, just tough times in general, I'm always reminding myself that, you know, no matter how bad it gets, there's somebody who has it a lot worse. And compared to them, you know, I have it great. And that really helps me out. To put those things in perspective, you know, you got a roof over your head, things like that. And really something that keeps me positive, keeps me happy, keeps me moving is helping other people, not making it about myself. Things are real miserable when you try to make it always about yourself, when it's always about helping someone else, you know, on a daily basis. They say a day that goes by that I haven't helped someone in some way is a day wasted, just as much as I think a day that goes by that I haven't learned something in my craft is a day wasted. So those are the two things that every day without fail I'm trying to do, and that really leads to a happier life. You make it about you make it a selfish thing, and yeah, it's gonna be more difficult. When it comes to set life, with production woes, our latest production was definitely one of those. It was an everything goes wrong sort of production. It was comical. At some point I just had to laugh as things went wrong because it was literally everything. And both nights that we shot 2 nights, there were times where I thought there was no way in hell that we were going to finish our days, and there was no way in hell I was going to finish the film. I was even coming down to, well, maybe I could just cut this into a trailer and then show this on the show that way. But in those times, it's not letting that stress overwhelm you. It's about just muscling through it, continuing to focus on the job at hand and doing it, and keeping your crew positive and inspired, and hey man, we can do this, and just muscling through it regardless of, you know, your fears. That's really all you can do, and more often than not, it's gonna work out when you look at it that way. Last question, if I'm working with child actors, how do I keep them entertained while we're not shooting? That is a good question. Usually, if I'm doing something like that, I will assign a couple of people to, that's their job, is to just be attentive to the kids and keep their minds occupied, because you know, a child who is bored is a child who is wigging out. So it's controlling that, keeping them occupied in some way, whether it's, you know, bring an iPad with stuff on it for them to watch in between, games for them to play, ways for them to be involved, which is something that I always like to do. If I'm directing a kid, I haven't done it that many times, but when I do it, I want them to feel involved, for them to feel comfortable with their surroundings, with me as their director. So doing stuff like showing them the gear, showing them stuff, make them feel like they're a part of it. I once had a kid sort of co-directing with me, and I would let them call action and things like that, and you get really comfortable with them, and they get really comfortable with the situation. You're going to get a much better performance that way. So, you know, I heard Spielberg said it, and I've done it ever since. It's not talking down to them, not talking to them like they're lesser than the other actors, but just treating them like another actor on set and just being attentive to their specific needs. If you're a filmmaker, entrepreneur, or innovator, the type of person that makes toilet paper without the tube inside,
which is genius.
Genius. What took so long?
That little tube thing was the worst.
Yes. So when that
Nobody
next
wants you.
tubeless toilet paper genius idea strikes you, you need to be going with domain.com, because they're reliable, they're affordable, they're easy to use, and can I tell you something? Building your brand is better than ever before, because you got that domain extension list that's growing like crazy, right? It's grown even farther. Now you can pick for like a list that's growing. It's like 200 plus, and it's just continuing to go. You can do stuff like .ninja, which is awesome. That's pretty awesome. .nyc, .expert, .club. That's what it sounds like in the club. Yeah. We would know. We party hardy. Ootsie, my friend. And domain.com wants to save you money, 20% off when you use the coupon code FilmRiot at checkout. Get yourself some hosting, some domain names, some email. When you think domain name, think domain.com.
We don't party hard.
We pretty much just work, but they don't need to know. Now they know that.
Logo.
So that's it for today, which means it's time for my suggestion of the week. This one is called He Took His Skin Off For Me, which is a very bizarre and awesome short film. It is a fantasy about relationships. You should check it out right here. It's got some awesome practical effects in there, so check that out. And until next time, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.